So when I was a kid, I had a hamster, and inside the cage was this wheel that it would run on all the time. And it would run all night. I never knew what it was so mesmerized with. But when it came to my life, that was me. I was on this hamster wheel, and I didn't realize it until I woke up to the painful reality that my wife was having an affair on me. But it was in that moment that I realized that this had nothing to do with her or anybody else before her. This was something within myself that I had to learn. And so I hired a mentor. And that mentor taught me some things that helped me see the world in a new way. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had new eyes. And I'm hoping that this will help you have new eyes too. The first thing that I learned was between the ages of 3 and 7, we learn how to receive love in a very unhealthy way. And for myself, that was me and my father. I strived for his love so badly as a child. I didn't really realize it until I was older. But the only way that I got that attention from him was violence. And that violence put me in the principal's office often. But it was in those moments that he paid attention to me most. But that's not what I needed from him. What I needed from him was his time, attention, and love. This brings me to the second point of what I learned, was this word called polarity. It's when we're shaming and blaming others for the things that we don't want to see in ourselves. And I didn't really understand what that meant, and I didn't really embody it until the day that I brought my oldest son to college. I always remembered his mother telling me, you give everything to your kids. What are you going to do for yourself? Like, what is it you're doing for yourself? And what are you going to do when they grow up and they move out? Where will you be then? And I put that in the back of my head for a very long time, because sometimes we don't want to hear other people's truths. And until the day that I brought him to college and I came home that day, I remember coming home, and it was to me, my youngest son. And opening the door to my house felt like I was opening the door to a tomb. I walked through that door, and later on when he went to bed, I was sitting on the couch swirling in overwhelming anxiety. And I thought to myself, what am I doing? I have these tools, and why am I not using them right now? So in that moment, I told myself, you're going to put the stories aside because that's a prison, and you're going to focus on the feelings, the emotions that are underneath it. And it brought me back to this moment in my own life when I was in college and I was calling home to speak with my father. And I wanted him to know how much I was doing and how great I was doing in school. And I mean, to be in college for myself was an amazing accomplishment. Because most of my life, I was dyslexic, I was put into special ed classes, and eventually I was put in detentional classes because I was thrown out of school for gun charges. So for being in college for myself, that was a humongous accomplishment. But I got the complete opposite of what I thought I was going to get. Why are you in school? Why are you wasting your money? Come home and come join the family business and everything will be good. And it took me a little bit, but eventually I gave in. I went home and I denied my own truth. And I hated him for so long for that. But it was in that moment that I realized he felt just the way I did in that moment. He just didn't have the tools that I have now. He didn't have the tools. But it was then that I gave him compassion and I gave him empathy. And I gave myself grace, and I honored my son in a way that my father wasn't able to honor me, because I realized that he wanted the love that I wanted from him, from his father too. And so that's a different way of looking in the world. That brings me to my final point. It was then that I realized I had been playing a game for a very long time. And that game wasn't working so well, but it was when I finally realized the game that I was playing and how I was playing it, that I got to play it differently. This is when I finally was able to take my power back and walk in the world in a different way. It's when I realized and came full circles understanding that it wasn't okay for what my ex-wife did. There was nothing okay about it. But I understood a deeper truth, that if it wasn't for what she did, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I'm journeying 30 people to Morocco. A boy who was dyslexic, felt left behind, felt like he wasn't enough. Felt like he was so unlovable, is now guiding 30 men and women to Morocco in October to help them find their truths, to help them remember who they are and who they always been before the noise, before the conditioning, before the world told them who they were. So what I'd like to leave with you today is that we have a residence in our hearts, and that residence can reach out 6 feet from our bodies and affect rooms that we walk within. But it also is affected by the way that we feel about ourselves. So if we're feeling sad, that residence comes really close to our bodies. But if we're feeling powerful and confident, it can resonate 6 feet from us, and it can affect the room that we walk within and change the residence within it. So what's the difference you want to make within your life? And how committed are you of doing it? Thank you.